What's up, y'all? I am Tay Marie, and welcome to The Collective. This is an interview platform focused on highlighting and spotlighting up-and-coming brands and businesses. And today, I'm here with The Spot, located on 7 West Broad Street in Richmond, Virginia. How y'all feeling today?
Good.
Good? Good. Word. We could just do a quick introduction with y'all. Just go around, introduce yourself, real brief, and we'll get into it.
So I'm Alex Tucker, owner of Insert Name. I'm from Richmond, Virginia.
My name is Dwayne Doku. I am the art director over at The Spot, and I own 2 brands, Bob's City and Salon.
I'm James Crump. I own Original Players, and I'm from Richmond, Virginia too.
So let's get right into it. I want to start in the beginning, right? So the idea to come here, get a brick and mortar store, collaborate with all 7. It's only 3 here today, but 7 people, 7 brands, businesses. Whose idea was that from the road?
It's kind of like a group
Yeah, it was a group thing.
So I think James and I have been friends for a while, since high school, and so we've always dabbled in clothing and that kind of creative realm. But when it came to a store, I know personally, me and Tyler went and looked for stores at one point. We really wanted to open up a space, and that never happened. Just because it was we never found the right spacing or whatever. It just timing wasn't right, and then I don't know. We all kind of started to connect with each other through different relationships. I met him through people at Rotate, like mine and Derek.
Yep.
You introduced me to Chong
And Cam.
And then I had met Brian and Derek. Even though I felt like I met them before, but and then I met Doku too. But my thing, I never planned to have a store like that. Was never really. It was something I would have been interested in doing, but it was never a goal for me. I wanted a creative space to be able to create and work with people and stuff like that. So I think all of us wanted some piece of the spot, in some way. And then we just got together and was let's just throw it all into one spot, literally.
Especially just perfect timing type thing.
Yeah.
Perfect timing, and everyone's like-minded to a certain extent, and we all have a certain business aspect about us and everything that it just makes sense to bring it together.
That's important too, having people who are like-minded on your team, where it's less clashing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was probably the biggest thing for real. That, like I said, everybody wanted some type of piece of this that connected with each other.
I
it just made sense. Yeah.
So, you guys opened 2020, is that correct?
Yes.
So that's crazy, right? So 2020, COVID-19, mid-pandemic, world's on fire, going crazy. Why did y'all decide that was the right time to open the store? And how did that come about?
Yeah, I don't even think it wouldn't even matter if there was a pandemic. We would probably still do this. We were so adamant on opening this place up and having something for ourselves that it was a pandemic. You ever seen the meme with a dog sitting in the fire?
Yeah,
This is mine.
I know for me it was the time though.
Yeah, it seemed more perfect.
I had a little more free time to cause I worked, so it's I had a little more free time to actually think about this. Stuff had slowed down, so it's then I had got to a point where I was trying to figure out alright, how you gonna be productive in this, during this time? You can't waste this time.
Right.
And so then, the time with me and everybody else, and everybody kind of formulating the idea. I don't know. To me, it's still crazy that just the chain of events that happened.
Yeah.
With it like you said, the world shutting down, and then us kind of getting together, me coming back to Richmond, and then stuff just moving. And then once we kind of started the process, it was just it just started going.
It was that standstill, that whole. I don't feel like we ever had that ability to just kind of be at a standstill, and everyone at the same time was stuck at that one point when we're in quarantine.
Yep.
And so it just ended up being like perfect. And then for me, I was getting unemployment and that money was hit.
Right.
And I was like, I want to invest this in something instead of just kind of spending the bread. And so I was like, I'm gonna put it into a business venture.
Yeah, I like that word. So, like, what's the timeline for that process? You said it was kind of straightforward, but from the time where you guys started, I guess you could say looking for a storefront this time around, I mean, you said you and Tyler were looking before.
You started talking to me about spaces probably literally around this time, I think.
I have horrible memories.
Yeah. Now, I want to say like he actually started talking about spaces, and it was kind of before the whole group got together, and then going into the summer, that's when we all started kind of like, because that's what it was. You started talking to me about spaces, and you was like, yeah, we trying to put a team together, because I think.
And then you met Tyler.
Yeah,
you
then I met
Tyler's
Charles.
group.
Yeah, and then we started kind of like pulling people, like thinking of people who like might work well with us or like work well together. And then that's when I guess he came, and then like B and Derek came and all that stuff. And then we really started looking at spaces, and we had that meeting at Jones' house at like, what was that like?
I know it like
July? June?
Yeah, it was probably around like June or July, because I know that we had that meeting. We had like a sit down meeting with our financial advisor probably around.
That was later though. That was later. But basically, it was around June, July. We got the space around. Yeah, we got the space around like August.
And we literally just, me and Tyler drove around. Like, we looked online, and because it was COVID, there was a lot of places like shutting down. And so that was why it was also like a perfect timing. Like, it's unfortunate for those businesses, but it was perfect for us. And this space was available. And so like, me and Tyler were driving around after visiting a place we found online, and we saw the sign in this window. This place wasn't up online or anything.
Right.
And we just called the lady, her name's Katina. She like set everything up, and it was just perfect.
It really was like, I don't know.
It was a blessing.
It really was. Like, we're located at 7 West Broad. There's 7 letters in the spot, and there's 7 numbers. 777.
I was gonna tap into that.
That's why we.
Yeah.
So like, cause that's crazy. It wasn't online. You randomly drive by and see it. It's 7 of y'all, right? It's 7. This is the address, 7 West Broad. Like, I believe in like numerology.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all do, but it just seems like it's divine. It's meant. So like, tell us like why did you pick this one? Like, what felt right about it? Out of all the ones you saw, all the ones you drove around, why was this store the one?
For me, like coming up and growing up here, I always wanted a store on Broad Street. Like, this is just a street to me. Yeah, it's the one. I loved Round 2. I loved, like, there were older stores before Round 2 that were like on this street, but I just always wanted a space on Broad Street. And so the fact that this opened up, we did look at another place that ironically is now where Kick's Booming, a cool store is, but we didn't end up going with that place. But this was perfect for us because of just how open it is. And then we also have the studio space in the back. And like, I don't think people realize how big this space is until they like come and visit in person.
Yeah. I feel that's dope though. When I was like looking up, I was like, the address is 7 and I was doing my research. I'm like, that's wild. That's super crazy. Alright, so you kind of touched into, you got a studio back there. Let's dig into what other services you guys offer. I was talking to you earlier, you do like the graphic design and everything. And so it's more than just selling apparel. You guys help with creative direction and everything like that as well. So who does what? Like, what's the roles for y'all?
It's weird. Like, everybody has like their own roles, but everybody can do basically. Like, it's crazy. Like, we're like at least 7 heavy hitters.
Yeah.
So like, let's say if I have to think like a logo, right? And I'm missing certain parts. Either James, Sean, or Cam can let me pick up where I left off.
Right.
Because like, you know, like they've been doing this with projecting fire. But what's it called? Yeah, it's just like everybody has roles they switch. But I would say you're the retail manager.
mean, I would say that it, like he said, it kind of changes, but everyone plays into their strengths. So I'm a lot to be 5 minutes late. Like, I'm very unorganized, but he's super organized. So like, he can handle logistical and kind of like back end stuff and making sure we're organized. I handle a lot of like creative direction when we have, like, say, a musical artist or someone come through. I might do the creative process where we think of the idea, but then I cannot draw. I draw stick figures, then we pass it on to Doku and I sit down and talk about what I came up with him, and then he conceptualizes my idea in my head for him, and it's just like a perfect process. Then we have like events here. Cam handles like the event stuff. Chong's the studio director, so after he comes up with your design, then we tell you, all right, come on, do you want to come print it with us? Because we can, and then we can get Chong to print it in the studio in the back or in our other place that we print at. So it's like a perfect, like, well-oiled machine.
Wheel, it just rolls. Word, that's tough. So, kind of touched on it, but like, it's more than just selling stuff.
Right.
Why was it important for y'all to kind of like become this creative hub of collaboration in the city, black owned, right? Like, why is that important to y'all?
I mean, I would say for me, because it's not really a place like it. I mean, we have like other places where, you know, you can go in the screen print, or you can go in and do like 1 or 2 things, but like my goal is always to have somewhere where like you could literally do like anything you wanted at any one given day. Any given day. Like, and here you can kind of come in and you can leave with something that day, or you can, you know, leave with something a week later. You know what I'm saying? So like, we can really do anything anybody needs done creatively. And just like going back to the last question, with like the versatility of everybody, like, it's so much skill amongst like all of us, and like different talents amongst all of us, that we just had a range for it too. And so being in a place like Richmond, where I personally feel like it's not looked up to as a creative place or like artsy place or whatever, but it's getting to a certain point where it is. I just feel like the spot being here is like a boost, like push towards that next level of like people saying like, oh yeah, there's stuff coming out of Richmond, like it's creative in Richmond. It's a creative place. It's a place for people to grow creatively and stuff like that.
Yeah. Anybody else want to touch on that?
My biggest thing is, I've been making clothes for 5 years, and my biggest thing is always it being like personal. Like the first drop I did, when I got something printed, it didn't go the right way, and it was because I wasn't able to walk in, talk with the people that I'm about to get things printed with, and it's just like I wanted this space to be somewhere where we are able to use our talents and the experience we have to share that knowledge and share that wealth with other people, and help like people avoid the mistakes that we probably made throughout the years that we've had, either designing clothes, making merch, printing stuff, all of that. So I just wanted to create a personal experience for people that were getting their stuff made, so that they felt that we actually care, because that's a big thing for me.
Right. Now, just like for people to know, like, list what you guys do. So like screen printing, graphic design.
Graphic design. We do. This is an event space. We have a kind of a photography space in the back. We said creative direction, and then we got a retail.
Okay, cool. And as far as like to rent this space, right? Because that's something I feel like is kind of untapped in type of stores like this in the area, right? Why did y'all decide to do that? Because that's like in my opinion, it could be a risk, right? Because you're letting people use your space, right? So why did y'all decide that was something that you were willing to do with your space?
I think just because, one, it's open, when we were building out, I mean, the goal was to be like versatile, be able to be versatile in setup and just how everything is arranged. So like everything in here can move out for somebody to have an event. And they can bring in whatever they need to bring in and all that. Like even when it comes down to like the merchandise on the wall, you can take all that stuff off and somebody can put their stuff. And so it just made sense to be able to open it up to people. One, it's another source of income, and two, it's just, I mean, it's a cool space. So like a lot of people come in and say, wow, this is a cool space. But when you come in here and you see like how it's set up now, like you kind of get ideas of what can be done in here. So why not let somebody execute that idea when they can walk in the door?
And it's also like I guess a good middle ground spot for anybody. So like if you're a musical artist, you might think to go to like we have the National, so venues like that to perform, but somewhere like here is a little bit different, it's a little bit more intimate, and you also have the experience of just happened with Chilele, and we did it here as well, but doing merch with whoever's making the music, and then they have a performance within your space, and it's just a one-stop spot, so it's like perfect.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, this is pretty much you just come in here and get everything. Like
from the idea to the launch.
And it's not just music. Like I feel like we're trying to foster inclusivity, and so as someone coming up making clothes, I wish there was a space where I knew that there were some cool guys that I could walk in and be like, yo, I kind of want to do a pop-up. Can I rent this space and like transform it completely how I personally want it and make it like it's my store?
Yeah.
And it's like you can do that. It's not just about music. Like a retail person can do that. I mean, you have a birthday party in here, low key. It's not just that, but
yeah, birthday, baby shower, whatever. For real though. But that's the joy of the space, and like I said, just being able to like literally make this whenever you want for that moment.
Yeah.
This is your like when you sign the agreement and pay the money, like this is yours. You know what I'm saying?
for a certain time.
There's certain limitations.
And I feel like it's a certain level of respect too. Like we're extending this offer to people, and we're being open with it. It's like people mostly, if you're gonna rent the space and put that money in, you're kind of respect us and what we're kind of doing. So the hope and the expectation is people wouldn't kind of fuck up this space for the most part.
It's usually like the homeless. But like what I was about to say is like all of like the stuff that we're saying about the spot, it comes from like stuff like coming into Richmond for me personally. The stuff that we do now, other stores weren't doing. So like basically opening up the space, having a screen printing area, like even a graphic designer to make his stuff, like there was no place like that in Richmond. And if they were there, then they were charging extremely high prices, and they were kind of biased towards certain clientele.
Yep.
So now I don't know, it's like, not only are we giving like black creatives, or just creatives in general, like that creative confidence, but it's like literally, we're shifting like the narrative, like this whole lot, like we're like the Black Wall Street in a sense.
Yep. I remember like about a year and a half ago, I was trying to, for Mo Boombox, I was trying to find a venue to do an event in. And pretty much dude literally sat there and told me in my face, we had a meeting, I said no, he literally was like, just make sure pretty much you don't, certain type of music artists couldn't perform. Basically saying like rap and shit like that couldn't perform. And I was just like, that's crazy to me that, but they own it, like they can do that, it's their shit, right? But it's dope to have like this type of spot where, our culture.
It's your people who own it, so then you're going to be treated a certain way because we can relate.
Yeah,
And the other thing is like we don't just work with rap artists. We aren't just open to hip hop. Like this is literally a space for everyone. Like anyone, yeah. And not even just like you said, just music artists, chefs, dancers, photographers, actors,
podcasts.
Yeah,
you got space for podcasts.
People who shoot podcasts and hear everything. Like it's just an open space.
So, I want to tap into like each one of y'all's stories, right? With like this whole entrepreneurship, creativity? Just start with you, guys. Like, where and when did it start for you?
So high school, I made a brand with some friends, and it was just, we sold some shirts, like it was chill. It was like an experience, but it didn't go anywhere. And then in college, like my junior year, I remember like starting to work and I had money to buy stuff I wanted. I really wanted Supreme clothes. I couldn't get it. It like would sell out. This is when it like really was starting to sell out instantly, and I was getting annoyed. And so I randomly had made I randomly had an idea and had someone design it, and then they made it. I posted it, and a lot of people liked it. And I was like, okay, I might make a shirt. I had another idea, and I made a shirt, and I sold out, and then it just went.
Cam, from the brand by Had on Instagram.
Word.
I'm Tyler from Human Creations.
Word. And then kind of like let the people know what's your story as far as like, that's what we're on right now. What's your story as far as starting a business, starting a brand, your creativity, and just being a part of this shop?
Well, initially, I moved to Virginia back in 2004 from California. Moved back to California and came back to VA. I've been here since, and just did the 9 to 5 thing, worked in IT for a while. Then moved from that into reselling vintage clothing. It was a thing where I really wasn't happy in the field I was in. I had been in it for like 6 or 7 years at that point. And as the corporate world, normally works, it's just some days they say, hey, yo, we're changing things up. Your position is not this, so I got laid off. And it was one of the things where it was my first corporate job, and I thought from working just blue collar stuff before, you could say just like doing landscaping and things like that. It's like when you got let go, you just let go. But they took us in and they're like saying you get a pension and all these things. I had no idea about. I've never seen that many that much money that I was going to be getting. So I was like, okay, this is an opportunity for me. I've been thinking about it just to try to potentially do something for myself, become an entrepreneur, invest in myself, do something like that. So first I got into reselling vintage clothing, just doing things I was doing already, vintage, just going to thrift stores, doing all that type of stuff. Linked up with some guys, opened up a store in Nova, and then moved on from that to opening my own space, also in Nova, and that was in 2017. Ran that until the end of 2020, and during 2020 or throughout that whole time, I met Alex, and he kind of linked me up with. Then I met Tyler, and then met pretty much everybody else. But they had an idea. It was Alex and Tyler had an idea about doing a space and getting together and potentially doing it with a whole bunch of folks. We had talked about before. I see these guys with Mad Baby Club, and seeing what they did, I was like, that was really dope. Just seeing dudes get together, and especially during the time, some black men getting together and creating something. Because last year was wild, and to open up, that's an understatement, I guess you could say, for 2020. But just to get together, potentially do something all together, all black men get together, and just creating a space was just really cool for me. And I just wanted to do it from the beginning. It was just something I was like, I'm really involved in. So fast forward to me finally putting out. I had a store, and I designed some things for my store as far as just merch for my store, but I never put in a lot of effort into that, into actually designing it, until I kind of linked up with everybody else doing their thing, and I dropped this hat last year, and I was really the main thing that kind of showcased being in the network, because without them sharing it and really getting it out there for people to see, I really feel it would have done as well as it did. Yeah, so it just was just amazing for that to work out like that, and then from there, just getting into creating with these guys, and then was having a beer to do it.
What's your story?
Let's talk about it.
You forgot your personal story.
Yeah, but like, all right, so.
You off the list.
Yeah, like, came back. All right, so I've been drawing for Lord knows how long, and then because of that, like people would use my art for like making shirts or like some sort of like digital graphic. It wasn't like I didn't get into like that whole entrepreneurial spirit or like mindset until I started working here. You know, being an owner kind of pushes you to like take on a different sort of responsibility. So now it's like, although like you're creative, there has to be a business, you know, etiquette to what you're creating. So like that kind of made me shift, you know, all right, how do I turn what I'm doing, like this talent, into a brand? And then, you know, us putting the message that we're putting, like I decided to take that same idea, incorporate it into my brand, as well as just like start building up like a resume and just like a portfolio, like, you know, branding itself, if that makes sense. Dang, that joint threw me. You can't be doing that.
You were just intrigued in his story.
Right.
You were captured by King Go.
I was there. Like, bro, go ahead. It's your turn. Go ahead, original play.
We just gonna go ahead and finish up.
For me, I think like the entrepreneurial spirit is kind of like something that was passed down. I mean, my dad was an entrepreneur in the community, so it was like it was something that I kind of already had. I mean, I've always been kind of entrepreneurial person. I used to do like little stuff in school, sell stuff.
So
You know, try to make candy. Candy. I had people in like elementary school drawing. No, for real, like, you know what I'm saying? I sold a bag of Kool-Aid for $20 one time.
That's crazy.
I put a name on it, they didn't even know.
That's crazy.
But no, I mean, I've always been like a creative person too. So being able to like put both sides of it into one space was something that was cool for me. And like I said, I always wanted like a creative space or a creative office. And I personally like more so like the agency side of stuff. When it comes to like like you said, the branding and all that, and working with different businesses and individuals. But yeah, I mean, it's something that I've just always wanted, as far as to have my own, something to call my own, and something. I personally hate selling clothes, but it's fun to make them. No, I mean, I like making clothes and like designing stuff, but selling stuff.
Like retail.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I worked in retail since I was 16, so it's like, I can do it. I just don't really have it.
But it's just ironic that we thought that was the one, and then like we drove around, I don't know, maybe 2 months later.
We was walking down Broad, there was a sign. Here was like, it's for branding, like shit. Broad, you need to get this built, you know. Landlord drove, they own this whole block. So they're real chill.
They're super chill.
Super chill. You know, they helped us out during the process. Really good communicator and like easy to talk to.
Last few questions here. As far as like, you know, everyone being entrepreneurs, you know, I feel like everyone also starts working in, corporate, but maybe you said work in retail or whatever. Does anyone still have, you know, that corporate job? Is there anyone that's you do?
Yeah.
You do? And it's nobody else.
No.
It's two. We're missing two people, right?
They were
So they are
So for y'all, what's the balance, right? Because now you own a piece of this, and you're trying to push your own brand, your own business, and help that grow, but you still have to go clock in. What's the balance to maintain?
It's like a constant battle.
Yeah.
It's like you see the potential where this can go, but you also have to face reality. Like, damn, right? It's like actually necessary. But like, it's so frustrating. Not frustrating. I think it's just kind of conflicting, seeing how much money you can make in comparison to where you're at right now. So you gotta take a step back and really just be patient. That's another thing I learned about being a home. That is be patient with
For me, I mean, I could say it's a battle. I kind of enjoy it sometimes. I mean, it sounds crazy, but like I enjoy I thrive off like productivity and like getting stuff done and kind of being busy in a sense. And so for me, like I do get frustrated, I get overwhelmed at times, but because my job is I work for a large company and it's very like fast paced and intense. So it's like it's fun though, and I think being there, working for like such a big organization, and like working with people who essentially do the same kind of, not the same thing, but like they run their own businesses under our umbrella. So it's kind of like I've learned a lot and been able to transfer it to here to kind of put some structure into this business too. And I didn't necessarily realize it, like it was some stuff that I had learned working for in the corporate office where I'm kind of like, well, this shit is dumb. Like, why would you do this? And then you get here and it's like, okay, now I see, like, it kind of makes sense. So yeah, it's been a battle too, but it's to me it's more so just time management, organization.
And that's what I think comes from the corporate that's really good, is like you're saying, utilizing things and practices that are in the corporate world into your entrepreneurial stuff. It helps with everything. Workflow, all that type of stuff, that's real. And I would say, like, honestly, even if you're an entrepreneur, those hours still gotta be put in, no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're living your dream, if you either making music, whatever, if you put in those kind of still 9 to 5 hours into it, you will see the success. Like that's like I even have that with myself. Like I'm trying to get myself into like, all right, I want to wake up, even though I'm working for myself, I want to be putting the time as if I'm going to 9 to 5 every day in order to get the full benefit out of it. And that's like the only way you really can. Is regardless of what you want to say about it, like everybody feels like entrepreneurship is the dream and all this and all that. It's stressful. Nobody's holding no ticket. It's work. You still got to put in that work. Obviously, we see Instagram and all the highlights of it. People in the club, getting them over here, blah, blah. But the people who are really at the top of this game are the ones who are treating it as though they're at 9 to 5. They're still, I guess the accountability is there to still be grinding the same way that they were grinding, like winning. Like, once James is able to like do full time what he's doing, like with like business, like not even that, still take those practices. Because James is like a project like manager, it keeps it rolling. Like make sure everybody's reading the day. We all getting into that. We all trying to do better and help a lot more with that. And it's like my wife, we just had a baby. She's not going back to work. So now we're really, really like full on. Yeah. Like if we don't make it happen, there's no bills getting paid. Kids ain't eating. So it's like, it's a scary thing, but I feel like no one really get the full potential out of whatever their like side thing is, unless they really put in that work, that full on work, like that grind, that same type of grind. And you guys are saying practices that the 9 to 5 for people who work every day do every day. So.
So this nigga was preaching. He can be my book.
Like I've found working, through the pandemic and everything, I'm still working from home, right? And I found because I'm in the same situation. It's a big company, they own they keep acquiring shit, they fast paced, everything's changing. And I'm used to going to the office, right? And I feel like being home, you're less distracted by just the routine of waking up, getting dressed, going to work, do your shit, leave. You're not in that routine anymore. You're at home. You're in the comfort of your home. And I have found myself feeling like I could be doing something else. Like, with this time, I could be doing something else to help build what I got going. Yeah. So it's like trying to find that balance. It can be frustrating for me personally, right? And I'm just curious, kind of like for y'all who, you're still working, how do you like mentally get out of that, like, I guess you say pessimistic mindset, like, dang, I could be doing something else right now. computer, working making calls for y'all. How do you get out of that and remain? I guess you could say thankful for having a job, right? For some people don't. How do you remain in a mindset of just like that balance? Do what I gotta do. For you, you seem like you want to do it. Not sure. It's different. If he's like,
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like I personally like I'm preparing to take that step. I'm not there yet, but I'm not saying like me technically working 2 jobs. I don't want to do that, right? But I just, like I said, I just kind of thrive off of like productivity, and when I'm busy, it's good for me because I don't do stupid shit. Like I don't do, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm locked in usually. So it's like when I'm locked in, that means I'm getting stuff done. Like, and even I literally do both at the same time.
Right.
Most of the time. So
are you working from home?
Yeah, I'm working from home. Like next week would have been a year that I haven't been in the office. Like a full year, which is insane. But like working from home like freed up the time for me to be like I technically I still work in DC, so like I'm literally living in Richmond. Have a whole business in Richmond now. So it's like it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, to be able to like come back and put the pandemic to use and like link up these guys, create something big, not just like any little thing, you know what I mean? And I still had the thoughts of like, how am I still doing it? Literally, I wake up and have 20 emails from the past day and be like, oh, how am I doing this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, it's like you said, it's the reality. Like, stuff still gotta be paid. You know what I'm saying? Stuff still gotta be done. So that's what it is. But I still try to give the same amount of time that I have to technically have to put in there, to put it in here too, so that I can get, like, we can get this to that level at some point.
Come in.
He
be sold out, bro.
Nah, so the only thing that makes me, I get excited drawing, so to answer your question, I feel like the thing that like makes me go against like, damn, I gotta work this 9 to 5, is like, I know it's not gonna be the and the thing is, the harder I work, the closer that gap is. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's all you gotta do. You gotta pray,
Alright, well, I mean, like, what's in the future for y'all? Do you ever see the spot expanding? Different cities maybe, or what's coming up? What y'all got cooking?
I just need COVID to be. Like we've had small events, but like we just from our events that we've had, we see the potential, and so like what in the future, what is in store for us in the future is like a lot of really good events that people would enjoy, like experiences. I want to say, but I'm waiting for COVID to whatever we have.
Before we can
I
really
think
open those things
we
up.
got potential to expand too.
For sure.
It's definitely like locking this location in and getting this one to its highest potential, and then kind of seeing what our options are from there. Maybe doing the same thing in another city, or maybe like taking a piece of this business and moving it to a separate location and doing something else with it too. But definitely, hopefully just keeping this first spot.
Last question. Why did y'all name it spot?
That name sound cool.
I feel like I know, I can guess, but why?
Well, I'm a corny person, and I like that type of stuff.
My tell you what I thought. So when I heard the spot, it's like that's what it is. It's the spot for everything.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. You know what I mean?
That was part of
That was
kind of just being like the one. You're not a one-stop shop, but the spot was like I can go to this spot and get everything. You know what I'm saying? From like you said, from beginning to end, like mid to launch, and that's what it is.
Well, thank y'all for chopping in with me today. Love the conversation. I want to throw out y'all Instagrams, websites, whatever people can find you.
Follow the spot, VA.
Yeah, spot on IG.
Where?
Find everything.
On there.
Yeah, we follow.
Yeah, we only follow 7 people, so that.
Yeah. Boom. That's funny. That's great. That's funny as hell. All right, y'all. Well, this is Tape Arena. This is the collective on Box TV. We out.